101 pitches, 11 innings, 1 run. That's all that separated the Toronto Blue Jays from their first championship in 32 years. But what if that heartbreaking Game 7 loss wasn't an ending? What if it was the beginning of something even greater? The matchmaker has spoken, and Kyle Tucker might be the piece that transforms Toronto from tragic heroes into dynasty builders. Hello, Jays Nation! Welcome to Blue Jays News Today, your go-to spot for the latest Toronto Blue Jays updates. 5 days ago, the baseball world watched Toronto make a statement. Dylan Cease, 7 years, $210 million. The biggest free agent signing in franchise history. But here's what nobody expected. The front office isn't finished. MLB.com's Mark Feinzan just published his annual Matchmaker piece, pairing one free agent with each MLB team. His pick for Toronto? Kyle Tucker, the consensus #1 free agent available. And the more you analyze it, the more sense it makes. Hit that subscribe button because we're about to break down why Tucker to Toronto isn't just possible, it's becoming inevitable. Kyle Tucker is 28 years old, entering free agency for the first time after spending 2025 with the Chicago Cubs. Let's address the elephant in the room first. His stats don't jump off the page. .266 batting average, .377 on-base percentage, .464 slugging. 22 home runs, 73 RBIs, 4.5 FWAR across 136 games. Those aren't MVP numbers. But here's what the surface stats don't tell you. Tucker dealt with a hand fracture from early June that lingered for months, affecting his bat speed and power. Then a calf strain in September cost him critical playing time down the stretch. Despite all that, he still maintained elite plate discipline with a .377 OBP and posted solid production. Now, let's talk about who Tucker really is when healthy. In 2024, before a shin fracture ended his season in June, Tucker posted 5.5 WAR in just 78 games. That's an MVP caliber pace over a full season. He's a 4-time All-Star. He's played in 72 career postseason games, including 17 World Series games. He hit 2 home runs in Game 1 of the 2022 Fall Classic with Houston. When the stakes are highest, Tucker delivers. And that playoff pedigree, that's exactly what Toronto is building toward. Mark Feinzan's matchmaker logic is crystal clear. Quote, Toronto has already made the biggest splash of the offseason by agreeing to a 7-year deal with Dylan Cease, so why stop there? Tucker is the consensus. No, one free agent on the market and would make a dangerous lineup even better. Just imagine the nightmare pitchers would face with Tucker and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting back-to-back for the next decade, end quote. That's not speculation. That's pattern recognition from one of baseball's most connected insiders. The market for Tucker will be fierce. The Los Angeles Dodgers are perpetually in play, though recent reports suggest they're hesitant about 10-plus-year commitments. The Cubs could make a push to retain him. Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies all have the financial firepower, but Toronto has something none of those teams can offer right now: undeniable momentum and unfinished business. Think about what the Blue Jays just accomplished. They won the AL East for the first time since 2015. They eliminated the Yankees 3-1 in the ALDS. They outlasted the Mariners in a 7-game ALCS thriller. And they took the back-to-back World Series champions to 11 innings in Game 7 before falling 5-4 on Will Smith's home run. Bo Bichette hit a 3-run bomb off Shohei Ohtani in that game. Vlad Jr. set postseason records. Rookie Trey Yesovich became a household name. That's not just a playoff run, that's a foundation. Players pay attention to momentum. Tucker has already won a championship with Houston in 2022. He knows what that atmosphere feels like. Now imagine walking into a clubhouse that just came within 2 outs of glory, with Vlad Jr. locked up for 14 years, with Dylan Cease anchoring a rotation that includes Kevin Gausman and Shane Bieber, with Bo Bichette likely returning after his heroic postseason. That's not a rebuild. That's not a retool. That's a dynasty being assembled in real time. Contract projections for Tucker? Industry consensus sits around 10 years, $400 million at $40 million annually. Some analysts predicted he'd approach $500 million before back-to-back injury-affected seasons. But even at $400 million, Tucker represents elite production, championship experience, and peak age performance from ages 29 to 38. Here's what separates smart franchises from great ones: recognizing your window and going all in. Toronto just proved they're not afraid to spend. George Springer, 6 years, $150 million. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 14 years, $500 million, the third largest contract in baseball history. Dylan Cease, 7 years, $210 million. That's over $860 million committed to 3 players. Ross Atkins and the front office aren't operating conservatively. They're operating with championship urgency. The rotation is already elite. Cease, Gausman, Bieber, who just exercised his $16 million player option after pitching in Game 7 of the World Series, Jose Berrios, and Yesevich give Toronto 5 legitimate starters. That's depth and quality. Add Tucker to a lineup that already features Springer, Bichette, and Guerrero. Opposing pitchers would face an impossible matchup every single inning. Where do you pitch around anyone when the next hitter might be even more dangerous? What makes this moment so critical is the timing. The AL East isn't getting easier. The Yankees just extended Juan Judge. The Orioles are loaded with young talent. The Rays always find ways to compete. Boston is spending again. Toronto can't afford to stand still after coming so close. Tucker isn't just an upgrade, he's a statement that the Blue Jays are building something sustainable. The financial flexibility exists. Significant money comes off the books after 2026. Toronto ranked 5th in MLB payroll in 2025 and has room under the competitive balance tax. More importantly, the World Series run generated massive revenue. Rogers Centre was electric. Canadian viewership shattered records. Ownership has every financial incentive to capitalize on this momentum. Tucker would keep that energy alive for the next decade. Dylan Cease was the opening move. Kyle Tucker could be the checkmate. Toronto has the money, the roster, the momentum, and the urgency. Tucker has the talent, the experience, and the championship pedigree. This isn't about whether Toronto can afford him. It's about whether they can afford to let him walk to a division rival or a Western Conference contender. The pieces fit too perfectly. What do you think, Jays Nation? Is Tucker the final piece that brings the championship back to Canada after 32 years? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, and subscribe for every update on this historic offseason. The Blue Jays are building a dynasty. Let's go!